Hello, everybody. This is Phil Chenevert with another episode of Why Do We Say That? I'm going to continue this time with our emphasis on food. We're going to cover cooking one's goose, or one's goose is cooked, seasoning, and eating humble pie. Let's begin with cooking one's goose. Now, a person whose goose is cooked, well, is headed for a sad happening, a downfall. He will be done in. For example, "They've caught me. My goose is cooked." The term is well known, and the most probable origin goes back to medieval times, around the 1400s, when the defenders of a besieged town showed their scorn for the attacking forces who had kept them surrounded for weeks, by hanging a goose from a tower, showing that they had lots of food left, and also to mock the attackers, implying that they were stupid as a goose. The attackers in this particular case, unfortunately, did not see the humor in the gesture of a goose hanging up there, and so they not only took the town, but they put the entire town to the torch, and this really cooked their goose. And that's where we ultimately get that saying from. Now, seasoning. You know, that stuff that you sprinkle into soups and all the other foods that you eat? It has an interesting origin. Around the middle of the 9th century, when French was emerging as a language in its own right, the Gauls termed the process of aging such foods as cheese, wine, and meats saisonner. Saisonner, in case I don't pronounce it quite right. You know, when you hang up meat and things like that, it makes it more tender. Well, during the Norman conquest of 1066, the French invaders brought this term to England, where the British first spelt it seasonin, sesonen, then finally seasoning, just like our spelling. Now, since aging food or seasoning it improved the taste, by the 14th century any ingredient used to enhance taste had come to be labeled a seasoning. So the rosemary, the thyme, the salt, and the pepper all come from basically hanging meat for a week or two to make it more tender, and of course aging cheese. Interesting. Now, eating humble pie. As we know, this implies someone who has made a statement only to have it rebound upon him to his ignominy, and having to admit that it is wrong. They must eat humble pie. During the 11th century, every member of a poor British family did not eat the same food at the table. No, no, no. When a stag was caught in a village, the tenderest meat went to its captor, his eldest son, and the captor's closest male friends. Then, after that, the man's wife, his other children, and the families of his male friends received the stag's umbles, that's spelled U-M-B-L-E-S, the heart, liver, tongue, brain, kidneys, and entrails. Now, to make them more palatable, they were seasoned and baked into an humble pie. Long after the dish was discontinued, and Americans added an H to the word to make it humble, to eat humble pie became a punning allusion to a humiliating drop in social status, and later to any form of humiliation. Well, we're going to leave the table now and let you try to digest these little tidbits of knowledge about words. This is Phil Chenevert with this episode of Why Do We Say That? Thanks for listening.